Hello, everyone. My name is Claire, and I'm an engineering student here at ASU, graduating in December, and as such, I'm applying for a big girl job. In preparation for my university exodus, I got help from the career counselors here at ASU in tailoring my resume for the kind of career I want. So there's a spot for my education, previous employment, research experience, and of course, leadership. Now that's kind of a weird one because a GPA is a GPA, but how am I supposed to quantify my leadership experience? Although I enjoy being a leader and I gravitate towards being one, there have been times in my life that I haven't been the best at things. In particular, at the beginning of my junior year, I decided to join the ASU Outdoors Club in order to do more hiking and backpacking. I thought it'd be pretty easy and I could lead a trip. It didn't turn out to be that easy. It can get a lot more complicated than that. Lots of things can go wrong while you're camping. But on every trip, I learned a lot from the trip leaders. When I'd be hiking behind somebody for miles and miles on the trail, I'd get inside my head and I'd think, if I could just pass this person, I would be the trip leader and I could lead the pack up the mountain. And then, but there was no then. I had to ask myself why I was worrying so much about being the leader and why I cared and what this obsession with leaders are in society. Of course, leaders are important, but you can't have a group with all leaders. It's just not functional. So I looked more into this, and only about 2.5% of us are innovators or leaders in terms of social change. So society reveres people like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, and for good reason, but places lofty expectations on ordinary people to innovate. This here is a bell curve. You've probably seen it before. It's the same kind of distribution for people's heights and exam grades in a class. I'm looking at this because I found out that people aren't just siphoned into leaders and followers. You can be a good leader, or you can be a good follower, a bad follower, or a really bad follower. So the 2.5% in the beginning are the innovators. So this is Steve Jobs creating the iPhone. The next 13.5% are the early adopters. These people pre-ordered their iPhones. They knew all about the gadgets ahead of time. The early and the late majority consist of the first standard deviation scattered around the center. And lastly are the laggards at the tail end of the bell curve. These people don't even have iPhones. So this is an example of the law of diffusion of innovation. It has nothing to do with people's phone choices. It's just an example. And this got me excited as being a follower because social scientists coined the term the tipping point or the chasm to describe the threshold of when an idea really takes off. So the iPhone wouldn't become the phenomenon that it has become today if it weren't for the early adopters and the early followers to push it to the phenomenon that it is. This gets me excited as an engineering nerd because Tesla is the leader in the electric automotive industry right now. They're the 2.5%. But other automakers and even companies like Google and Apple are following in Tesla's footsteps in order to create an all-battery-powered car. Google has even hired the former CEO of Hyundai to lead their automotive division. So we don't know, the follower could end up being the leader by the end of the decade. So if you don't think this can happen, take a look at other followers in the past that have surpassed the leader. So Facebook wasn't the first social media site, and there are now 1 billion people and counting active on the site. And what about BlackBerry? You remember those? In 2007 to 2010, they had the market share of the smartphone. They were leading the pack until their smartphone got outdated, and followers like Apple and Samsung took over. So I can take examples from these company followers and reap major benefits from the leaders of the time. So a good follower makes prudent and strategic decisions based on research when they can't come up with ideas on their own. And a good follower does not try to destroy the leader. Without Tesla as a benchmark, how are these companies going to know how to improve? So this is me. Last summer, I completed a 10-day, 90-mile backpacking trip in the Sierra Nevadas. We started with 12 people, and we ended with 5, because no matter how hard you try, you can't predict exactly what nature can bring. I can happily say I completed the trip, even though probably 2 years ago I would have been eaten by a bear, which is a real thing in the Sierras. But I learned a lot. I still haven't led a trip yet because I'm still learning. As you can see, I'm sporting an industrial-sized trash bag instead of a rainfly or a raincoat, and I was freezing cold. However, after I decided to get outside, I've been healthier. I've seen beautiful sights across the country. I get better sleep when I'm camping, and I all around feel more confident that I can accomplish things. In my life, at times, I have felt extreme pressure, both internal and external, to succeed and to lead and to excel. But after taking a step back and realizing that great leaders aren't born overnight, I have found purpose in being a good follower under the right leadership. Thank you.